The information.
Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Good evening, everyone. Breaking news. If you were not with us about 15 minutes ago, we went live early to tell you that Donald Trump has been shot at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now, I was testing a new streaming system at the time. Things got a little bit rocky with the broadcast, so we signed off. I've signed back on now. I'm glad that everybody is joining us here. I can see the numbers starting to build, so I'm glad that you were able to still find our broadcast tonight. I've gone back to our original system so that we're firing on most of the platforms. A little bit of disruption, but Donald Trump shot in an apparent assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. This taking place tonight at 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, moments after he took to the stage at this very well-attended rally. Shots rang out. You could hear pop, pop, pop in the audience, in somewhere in the stands, it appeared, where it sounded like. And then he reached behind his neck and to his ear and around to his face as though he had been hit. He then crouched down onto his knees. Secret Service agents rushed onto the stage, surrounded him to protect him. Then you could hear them shouting instructions to each other. And then they whisked him away, trying to get him to safety. As he did that, as they were taking him away, he rose up, his arm and fist stretched into the air, an American flag behind him, in defiance, with blood on his face, his neck, and by his ear. So you could tell that he had been hit, at least grazed by a bullet. How serious the wound is, we do not know at this time. I do have video queued up and ready to share with you. This is what happened. This is the lead up to it, and then the actual, you'll hear the shots ring out. Butler, Pennsylvania. Tonight, Donald Trump shot in an apparent assassination attempt. This is how it went down.
People. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Move his spear. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go.
I'm going to recue that so you can see it again.
Couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So that's what happened. That's the way it went down live at 6:11, between 6:11 and 6:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Donald Trump shot while giving an address. He had just taken to the stage in Butler, Pennsylvania. It just started to speak. And then the shots rang out. Let me just, there is a photograph that was taken of him as Secret Service agents whisked him away. I'll share that with you now as well. I have a lot of tabs open here as I've been trying to get the information for you, the most current information. And here's the image of Trump, defiant, raising his fist into the air with blood on his neck and the side of his face. Now, this image, I'm not sure where it came from. This may actually be an NBC News image. And I want to make sure we give credit if that is where it belongs. This sent to us just moments ago. And that's what it looked like as they took him from the stage. An American flag behind him. Blood on his face, his ear. Fist raised into the air. So he was rushed off the stage, and again, this happening just minutes into his rally in Pennsylvania. And after he was shot and he crouched down onto the stage and Secret Service agents surrounded him and then whisked him away, you could hear additional shots fired. When he was hit, you could see him reach for the side of his face behind and like touch his neck. He then crouched down and the Secret Service agents rushed onto the stage and surrounded him. Now, there are reports from witnesses who say they saw smoke and heard what they thought initially were fireworks, and then people began to duck down and people realized what was going on, and then you could hear screams coming from the audience as this scene unfolded. Now, a Secret Service agent has posted on social media just a few moments ago that the former president, Donald Trump, is safe tonight. Secret Service is investigating, and we are told that further information will be released as it becomes available. And we are monitoring that and following the information coming from. Now here's additional footage we have for you. Let me get this up on the screen for you right away. And you can see him surrounded and then being rushed off the stage here. He was down, he's been hit, you see. Raising his fist into the air. And the people cheering him while he did it. They're taking him away. And you can see him being loaded now into the SUV that they have waiting for him. And the word from Secret Service agents again, as he raises his arm into the air, is that he is safe tonight. Donald Trump's safe, but he was hit by a bullet. At least one. At least one. Shocking, shocking footage tonight. Let's go to the chat, see what's going on here. And we'll, so yeah, Dragon. Yes. WTF, what happened? Yeah, Donald Trump shot in Butler, Pennsylvania tonight at a rally there just moments ago. And so that has thrown all of our news coverage plans off the rails here as we shift gears to provide live coverage of this breaking news event. And Susan says prayers for Donald J. And we will go to the phones here to give you guys a chance to weigh in on this conversation. Let me put the phone number up on the screen for you to call. I will take phone calls here at 519-401-1373. You can join the conversation on this emergency broadcast here on Maverick News covering the apparent assassination attempt on Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania this evening. Donald Trump shot, at least grazed in the neck or side of the face. It looks like maybe by the ear. Rising up after crouching down on the stage, rising up with blood on his face, neck, and ear, and then taken away by Secret Service agents. You can join the conversation tonight at 1-519-401-1373. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-519-401-1373. One 519-401-1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. Okay, and yes, I know, Dragon, that link that I sent you won't work because everything has changed. And I know you were supposed to join the broadcast for the stuff out of Montreal, but this has changed everything, and that link will no longer work. I'm sorry. Okay, so, I'm just doing my best. I had to rejig everything here tonight. You can join the conversation, though, at 1-519-401-1373. 401-1373. If you have any comments on tonight's attempted assassination of Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. Again, I will bring that video back up and I will show you again what happened as Donald Trump took to the stage. And yeah, sorry about that, Dragon. Let me show you the footage again one more time. I'll re-cue here and bring it back up, and I will show you what happened. This at 6:11 p.m. tonight. That's Donald Trump had just taken to the stage, had just started to speak, and then we heard shots ring out. Pop, pop, pop.
Happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Moving his spear. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Move. Go.
And again, that is the way it went down. Now, let me just see what's going on here. I've got all kinds of different things being thrown at me. And we'll see what the most recent information is coming from. Secret Service. Yeah. Okay, so he was rushed off the stage just minutes into the rally. Screams from the audience rang out as people finally realized it was not fireworks, it was actually gunshots. Now, he was speaking in a parking lot near the event side. Hang on, we've got a call coming in.
Well, there you go, guys.
Let's see what we have
Unbelievable
here.
information right now as we see President.
And again, let me just mute this for just a second, and we'll bring this first caller up tonight. Okay, hang on. Here we go. Okay, we have Isabel on the line. Go ahead, Isabel. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I was watching that on Fox, as I do every day before you come on, and I thought I was going to hit the floor because I believe in Trump, and I was rooting for him for the people in the States. And when that went off like that, that brought back Wallace, it brought back JFK, and I'm like, and Biden calls it an incident?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I go down the rabbit hole with everything we know they do. And I see people in the chat saying, yeah, deep state. And people saying you missed. You know, like you tried and you missed.
Yes, yes.
And just listening to Biden the last few days, I'm going to the end and I'm going to win. And okay, I know he's not all there, but it makes you wonder. And you try to stay on the right side. And I'm like, oh my God. Like this was like watching the towers again. It just depletes your whole, everything goes to your feet. And I'm thinking, oh my God. When I seen him get back up, I thought, I hope that higher power was watching. Be honest with you. I was hoping a higher power was watching, because that really hit me emotionally, watching this. We know he can do good. And this is what happens. I mean, the crowds that he draws, the things that he's saying, hopefully he sticks by everything he's saying, but he's talking to the common man.
Yes.
And this I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm so like shocked. I can't believe these are things you would hear of when I was a kid or a teenager. You never got to see this.
Oh, hang on a second here. Who's on the line?
Just kidding.
Okay, hang on here. Let me just see if I can add you to the call. Okay, I think we've got another call, 2 callers on at once now. Are you still there, Isabel? Maybe not. Okay, hang on.
I can hold, no problem.
Okay, hang on. Okay, who's there now? Okay, let's see who we have on the line. This is
It's
there,
me again.
there you are.
Phone
Sorry
dropped the
about that.
call, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. This is a different phone system too. So I'm
That's
struggling.
okay.
Everything was new tonight. This reminds me, Isabel, of Ronald Reagan's
Yes.
shooting, you know, when he said that he forgot to duck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He had a way with words.
he did. He certainly
You know,
did. Yeah.
I can see with Trump raising his fist, it's like, I'm still going to beat you guys. That's what I got out of this. I'm still going to
Yeah.
beat you because I heard the first 4 shots, but then there were more shots that went off after that.
Right. So the feed that you were watching, describe what you saw as it unfolded, because there were a couple of different camera angles, and the one that we had was tight, close up at first, but then it went wide. So what were you able to see from what you were viewing?
Exactly the same thing. It was tight at first, and then the camera drew back where you could see more of the crowd. And it came in a little bit, but not close up.
Right.
And then you seen him, you kind of heard a pop, and you seen him grab his ear. And then I heard more pops after that, and I'm like, if he hadn't have gone down at that point,
Yep.
it would have been fatal.
It very well may have been, because you can clearly see that they hit him
Yes.
on the neck, so they almost got him in the head.
Yep.
And that could have been devastating. It could have been a lethal shot. Very,
Exactly.
very close. Yeah.
And I think that's definitely what they were aiming for with where they shot him.
Oh yes.
And it was like, okay, so the repetitive shots that came after, if he hadn't have dropped, that would have been totally fatal.
Yes.
And I was counting the shots as I went back and they replayed it.
Yep.
And there were 4 initial shots. And then after he went down, there were more shots. And I'm like, I counted maybe 8 in total, because it didn't just stop at those 4 shots.
Yeah.
And you heard other reporters that were talking in the background going, well, I know what a gunshot sounds like. And that was definitely a gunshot.
Yes.
And I mean, you can't mistake that. My son is a hunter. You can't mistake that that's not a shot.
Right.
And I'm thinking, why is it that Biden accepts gunshots when it's other people, but when it was Trump, he calls it an incident? An incident if you fall down the stairs or you get hit, your car gets hit, maybe in like when they do their procession, that would be an incident.
Yes.
This was not. This was an assassination attempt.
That's
And
exactly what it was.
Pardon?
That's exactly what it was. Yes.
And he can't find the words to say, oh my God, that was an assassination attempt.
Yeah. So some witnesses there say they saw smoke, and they initially thought they were listening to fireworks, but then when did you realize that it was actually gunshots?
When I seen the blood on his face right away, I heard the pop, and at first I wasn't sure what the pop was. When I saw the blood, I knew right away. It went right through me. Oh my God, he was shot. There was no denying that.
Yes.
And it didn't sound like fireworks to me, because fireworks don't sound like that. They don't pop like that. They're more of a crack sound. That was a pop. It was definitely a gunshot. And yes, some people did say at first they thought it was. What got me was there was a woman right behind him in a white shirt with her phone going. She's literally sitting there taking video of this, and I'm thinking, everybody else is ducking. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand you. You're videoing this. And the guy beside her is kind of like pulling her to she's still videoing, and he's trying to pull her to the side, like, duck, idiot, because
Yep.
there's still shots. She's videoing away. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, you're really looped on your phone.
And here we're going to go to footage again. This is a tight shot as the Secret Service agents surrounded him and then whisked him off the stage. This is what it looked like.
Yeah, they were gathering around him. They were trying to shield his head.
Yes.
I mean, that was my fear, is like he still kept putting his head up. Like, put your head down, Don. Put your head down. Like,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
well, and somebody said in the chat that the shooter was killed. I haven't seen anything like that. I haven't heard anything like that.
I've not seen confirmation of that. I'm not seeing any information yet that appears to be legitimate in that regard. Nothing about what happened with the shooter. But I would think that given the size of the crowd, the way things were set up, that they've got to get this person, whoever it was. And there's that photograph again of Trump with his fist raised into the air in defiance, American flag behind him, surrounded by Secret Service.
Yep.
An amazing picture.
I mean, that picture is going to go down in history, along with his when he was taken into jail. Those two pictures are going to live forever.
Yes.
Like when I seen him raise his fist with the flag over his left shoulder, I thought, yeah, you got the flag over your heart and your fist in the air, man.
Oh, yes.
You know, I mean, I still can't believe it. I'm like, I'm still in shock. I'm like, oh my God, don't take him out.
Yes, this is without question history in the making, history unfolding, as it's been said before, history on the run. And here is footage of what appears to be the shooter being taken down at the rally.
To me, as you're trying to figure out if you're okay, what's going on, was he shot, was he wounded? Then we heard him on the microphone, Shannon, saying, let me grab my shoes, as they tried to take him off.
It looks like they got
we're just trying
somebody,
to figure out
they've
what
arrested
happened.
somebody there. You can see some police officers
To me, as you're
carrying
trying to figure out if you're
away.
okay, what's going on, was he shot, was he wounded? Then we heard him on the microphone, Shannon, saying, let me grab my shoes, as they tried to take him
I
off.
hope they don't, because I want
we're just trying to
answers.
figure
I
out what
want to
happened.
know what's behind this, who's behind this.
To me, as you're
I
trying to
think
figure
the one thing America does not need is another unsolved assassination attempt that will just linger and torment the American public for generations to come, because it's all steeped in mystery and unanswered questions. We can't afford that. So they need to get to the bottom of this right away and tell us exactly what is going on. And I hope that cooler heads prevail so that we get real answers, real information, and people are not left hanging.
Yeah, that's true. My first thought is, don't hurt Donald. You know, I mean, but yes, we do need answers. It seems to me this was really choreographed well. This wasn't just, I don't know, that's how I feel lately with the way things are going. Things are choreographed to happen, and they're planned ahead of time. I don't think this was a guy that just decided, well, I don't like Trump. That's not how I feel about this.
Yeah, well, there's no way to know right now, is there?
No.
We just don't know.
And I hope this doesn't get buried like everything else.
Take a look at what happened.
Because lately, a lot of shit's getting buried that we don't know anything about. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm emotionally charged because of what happened. And I'm angry because of Biden's attitude towards this.
Yes, I understand. I do understand.
You know, and I have good friends in the States that we used to belong to the GWRA, which is the Goldwing Road Riders Association.
Yes.
Motorcycle group. And I have a lot of very good friends in the States. And they were on the Trump side. and rooting for a change because they just can't survive with the way things are.
Mm-hmm.
And I just imagine what they're going through today.
Yes.
I
Well,
mean,
this will be, I mean, this will, these shots will echo around the world.
oh, definitely. Definitely they will.
Yes.
I mean, this is one of those incidents where everything gets put aside and it's kind of like a collaborative feeling as to what we just saw.
Yeah, and David commenting in the Rumble chat saying if Trump had died, there would be civil war. And that may actually have been that is how volatile things are in the United
Yes.
States right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so. It wouldn't take much to trigger anything at this point.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, listen, Isabel, let's make room for some other callers here. I can only take one in at a time here on this system, so I really appreciate you calling in tonight and sharing your experience and letting us know how you saw this unfold tonight. Again, Donald Trump shot and history in the making. Any final thought?
All I can say is my prayers are with him. I hope things are going to come out okay. And I hope they get to the bottom of this.
Thank you,
I really
Isabel.
will.
And we're moving on to our next caller. Thank you.
Thank you.
And go ahead. Who do we have on the line?
Hey, it's Kitty.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad at all until Robert and I were watching this live.
Yes.
Thank you to my VPN. And as soon as I heard what the noises were, I knew what they were. Because how should I put this delicately? I was raised properly. I have American cousins. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And both Robert and I literally flew up, and the first words out of his
Holden,
mouth is, "Oh
if
my
you
God, Mom,
want to
where's
really.
Trump?"
Sorry,
And the way he went down for a split second, I thought they really got him.
Yes, it was very scary.
It's the time stopped, and I am so angry. I am so angry. It's
What do you think this will do
oh
to the campaigns? How will it affect Trump and Biden and the election campaign?
Biden, yes. Let's talk about Biden, shall we? Your previous caller was absolutely spot on, and he's calling it an incident. The guy didn't stub his toe. He was the focus of a headshot, which thank God missed. Whoever that shooter was, he knew what he was doing. And it's by the grace of God that it only got him on his ear.
Now we are getting word from Trump's campaign team. Trump's spokesperson, Stephen Chung, says that Trump is thanking law enforcement and first responders for their quick action during this heinous act. His words. He goes on to say that Trump is fine and is being checked out at a local medical facility. More details to come. And not clear if the suspect that they arrested is in custody at this time or not, but they clearly took someone away from the audience, carried the person, whoever it was. And
yeah,
so
I noticed that, They carried him out like he was a sack of potatoes.
Yep.
I think it's a case of if they didn't get him, somebody else would. I mean, if things weren't volatile before, they're really hot now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I just I swear, like, Robert and I are just wandering around in a daze because I think shock is a good word. Because I remember Reagan.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, I don't remember JFK. I was a baby then, but I remember my parents. It really affected them. And, but Biden, oh my, an incident. That's when you stub your friggin' toe as you're going down the stairs or something. The disrespect of that one word in relation to what happened.
Here's
this incident
yeah.
he's despicable. His reaction was political. This man, Donald Trump, he's a human being. He's a husband, he's a father, he's a grandfather. His job was president before.
Yes.
You know, but everyone, when they are home with their families, their dad or their sweetheart, whatever, you know, whatever the relationship, you know, at night before they put their head down to sleep at night, they were a human being.
Yes.
And as far as politically, oh, I actually, you know what, I can't put my words quite together yet because, like I say, I'm still walking around going, oh my God, I can't believe we just saw that. But I really do think that Biden's reaction is going to hit him really hard, and I hope that man does not have a good sleep for the rest of his life.
And we do have another angle on this now. Video shot from the crowd as Trump was taken off the stage. Let's take a look at this. That's what that is. Yes. Have you ever been to a Trump rally?
No, I wish.
Yeah, I have been, and I can tell you they have metal detectors there. They search all the bags coming in. They do have protocols in place to keep Trump safe, and it's pretty tight. But when you have crowds the size that he attracts, it's almost impossible to make sure that you check every single thing, and that's what's happened here. Trump shot tonight, grazed at least in the neck or the behind the ear, it appears.
It looks like there's a round shot in his ear.
Yeah.
And like I went white. I thought I was gonna pass out, and then Robert was like, all he could say was, "Oh my God, they shot him, Mom." But I have to tell you though, you know how Robert is. He's high functioning. The best thing Trump could have done for his supporters and for people like us is raise his hand and pump his fist like he did with the American flag in the background, because it shows, you know, like I say, politics aside, shows I'm a survivor, man, you know.
Yes, he certainly is. Well, they've literally thrown everything they can at him, and now he's facing this, and he has survived this attempted assassination tonight in Butler, Pennsylvania. Donald Trump shot just after taking the stage at this rally, and this happened at 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He crouched down after being shot, surrounded by Secret Service, and then taken off the stage, whisked away to safety. And the word that we have is that he is safe tonight. He is being checked out at a local medical facility. We are waiting for more details here live right now. What do you think? How do you think the voters are going to respond to this?
Oh my. Oh my. Huh. I think Biden just may as well just dog around back, trip up the stairs in the aircraft and go home. I really do think so. And I'll tell you something else. I really do hope that the press, like, enough bullshit. I really hope that, pardon my language, I'm sorry. I really hope that the press reams him for his response. Because if it would have been anybody else, he would have called it the way it was. Right?
Yes.
Except when it came to Trump, of course. And I really, that shows, you know what? That shows the character of Biden. That shows what he's truly like. Because anybody else that's a human being, like him or not, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not people would want to vote for Donald Trump or not, should be a human being enough to go, oh my God, his wife, his kids, his grandchildren, did they see this live?
Well, a lot of people
Is
did.
Donald Trump okay? Like, you know, they would have a sense of empathy of, oh my God, you know, I hope he's going to be all right. Paul, like, put the politics aside. He's a human being.
And we are lucky that other people have not been injured, shot, maybe even killed tonight. This is the way the crowd reacted. A different angle again, a wider shot as the crowd began to try to get away from where these shots were being fired.
You hear him go!
This is wrong. This is wrong. Cyber shot somebody out.
And yet, people actually quite calm.
They're out.
Come on, Daddy, let's go.
You hear him go!
This is wrong. This is wrong. Cyber shot somebody out.
This happened.
Yes. I'm sure that it is shocking. And, you know, you heard the initial shots. You saw that Trump had been hit. And then after he was down, you heard additional shots fired.
See, that's when I thought that had killed him, you see. And we were just like holding our breath.
Yeah.
And it's not something I'm ever going to forget. And I know Robert won't either. And all I can do is, like, I'm hoping and praying that, you know, he is. I'm sure he is okay. But boy, oh boy, I hope they beef up his security.
Well, I don't
And
know,
as far as the election goes, you know what, this just I think it's a safe bet that Donald Trump will be the president again. I really do think so.
Yeah, do you think?
And
You know, with him getting up and raising his fist into the air, these images will be forever embedded in the psyche of America and certainly in the history books. And he's defiant. He appears very strong here. So he's emerged from this, I think, in an even stronger position. And as much as the focus here has to be on his safety and the safety of others at the event, from the political perspective, this absolutely, I mean, it's going to help him because it shows that he is strong and fit. They shot the guy and he still got up, and you can see him. You can see the words coming out of his mouth. He's saying, "Fight, fight." If you know this,
it sent chills down my spine, and I'll tell you, Robert, like you know him, he jumped up and down. He started grinning. He said, "Mom, look, he's going to be okay. Look at him."
yes,
You know, and you know, and it made me feel better. I'm not even American, but I got cousins down in the States. My brother's down there, my sister-in-law. I got nieces and nephew, and I've always gone to the States almost all my life, except for the past quite a few years. But yeah, I should hang up so other people can call. But
yes.
I'm definitely sending prayers to him, to Melania, and to the kids and the grandkids, because with the way social media is, I'm just, I just want people to be kind and just put politics aside and just be like, look, the man's a father, he's a husband. You know, how would you like it if that happened to you? I don't think you'd be liking it so much. Like, you know, put the politics aside and wish him well, wish him a healthy recovery, because I'm thinking psychological too. That's a hell of a thing. But yeah, he's so strong. He's like, you know, the defiance, that's a perfect word, Rick. Absolutely perfect. But of course you are the perfect Rick Walker. You are with Maverick Multimedia, with the best show on YouTube. Which reminds me, before I go, hey Maverick family, how are you doing? You can't see me, but I'm waving and I'm sending hugs. Robert and I send you all of our best. We hope you're all well. And have a beer for me because I ran out.
Well, thank you so much for calling in tonight. I haven't heard from you for a while. We haven't been doing these call-ins nearly as often, and it's good to hear your voice again.
Well, thanks so much, Rick, and same here. I'm glad I was able to phone, and
And I've got another call coming in, so I'm going to jump up before I lose this call. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You take care.
You too.
All right,
Bye-bye.
There he is. There's Dragon. Hello,
Hey,
sir.
what's up?
Well, I am so sorry that, excuse me, we didn't make that link work for you, sir.
Well,
But, everything.
all good. You know, I mean, it's Trump, first of all. So, I mean, my thing goes way beyond, I mean, no, Trump goes way beyond what I did. So, I mean, my thing is probably not that so important right now.
Well, it's all important, and you were down there covering that anti-Israel, pro-Palestine march in, through the streets of Montreal today, and that's an important story as well. But this obviously trumps everything.
Surpass everything.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm shocked. Seriously, man, I'm shocked. To be quite honest, I would have probably thought that it would have probably happened more to RFK because, of the curse of the family and all that. I mean, not that I'm kind of curse a guy, but probably somebody would have tried to, I don't know, send a message this way. But Trump, I'm totally surprised and shocked, first of all. And the other thing is, well, look, Isabel did a right point by saying that, well, it is kind of like another 9/11 that just happened.
Yeah.
I do feel this way too. And yeah, I mean, it's totally crazy. And yeah, I mean, you're on point too, actually. You did say that it could have probably brought a civil war if Trump would have died from that attempt.
Indeed.
So yeah, I think it is probably a nice way to put it, because yeah, I think it would have probably brought something very, very nasty in there. Something would have probably blow up somewhere. I don't know.
Yep. I mean, I don't know what will happen as a result of this. My guess is it's going to inflame things more, but it will reinforce the support that Trump has. It will widen the gap between him and Biden. It'll galvanize everything around Trump. RFK Jr., I think this will probably have a negative impact on him as well, because any support that has been bled off of Trump, I think will, it'll come back to Trump to some degree here at RFK Jr.'s expense. What will happen in the streets, I'm not sure, but I'll tell you, if he had been killed, yes, the whole country may well have descended into violent conflict. So the country, it's fortunate for the country that he was not killed, and not just for Donald Trump and his family. This is, major development.
Sure that there's a part of division that it might cause around, but sure that it will also galvanize the American Trump supporter, and probably take few others from RFK or Biden that will join his vote because of that as a support, or probably like, I don't know, realizing that there's something fishy around. And I mean, yeah, that's probably something that we might have to think about. And also Biden comment, well, it's typical from a sociopath. That's my take.
Yes. So here's some commentary from the scene. People interviewed on the fly in Butler, Pennsylvania tonight, where Donald Trump was shot moments after taking to the stage at this rally. And here's reaction from the crowd.
What did you see, sir?
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, he's been shot, he's been shot. So I made my way over. I said, I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you. The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There was lots of blood, and he had brain matter there. And so I got him. There's a helicopter coming in to get him. I got people there really helpful. I got
Was
him
there only
up
one
on the
person
bench.
shot that you saw?
Then I did CPR, did chest compressions as well as I breathed for him.
One person.
I was the only one
You
that
guys
did it.
need to evacuate everybody. Honor, that's exactly where I heard
I'm
him
going to
come
watch
from.
this one
What
more
did you
time.
see,
Listen
sir?
to this guy.
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, he's been shot, he's been shot. So I made my way over. I said, I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you. The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There was lots of blood, and he had brain matter there. And
He's
so
not
I
talking
got
about
him.
Trump. He's talking about a suspect.
There's a helicopter coming in to get him. I got people there really helpful. I got
Was
him
there only
up
one
on the
person
bench.
shot that you saw?
Then I did CPR, did chest compressions as well as I breathed for him.
One person.
I was the only one
You
that did
guys
it.
need to evacuate everybody.
Okay, so according to that witness, an emergency room physician who was at the rally, he saw a suspect shot in the head, apparently dead, helicopter coming in. He indicated this is a doctor, self-identified as such, who indicates that he saw brain matter from a suspect shot at the scene. So that is direct evidence, testimony, an eyewitness report from the scene in Butler, Pennsylvania tonight, where Donald Trump shot on stage but survived this apparent assassination attempt. History in the making, American history in the making, world history in the making tonight. Here's additional footage. Another eyewitness account, this coming from BBC, and we're getting this information to you as quickly as we can, as accurately as we can here on Maverick News tonight. This is a BBC interview, raw, apparently, that was fed out live, and we've got it for you here now with a witness on the scene.
You can see behind us someone who was here. You weren't inside the event, nope, but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw. So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, you know, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, you know. But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof. And he had a gun, right? He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle, absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out. So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof? 100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
That's incredibly shocking.
The guy was on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
No, other than he was in.
I'm gonna go back to it.
I mean, we saw the rifle, 100%.
Do you know about guns? Do you know what kind of weapon it was?
Oh, I absolutely know about guns, for sure. No, I mean, it was a rifle of some sort. I wouldn't know, I wasn't close enough to read the label on it, but
sure. But
it was a rifle of some sort. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man. All I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof. Yes, right there by that tree. We were outside the security perimeter. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not at every building here?
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions, I think, that are going to come.
There's a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Yes, she was right in front of me. She kept going back and forth right in front of me. Yes.
Tell us about her.
I mean, nice horse, nice lady running with a flag. Seemed very, patriotic.
But what's the significance of her?
No, he asked me if I saw a horse.
Okay. All right, well, listen, I'm sorry you had to witness that. That was a terrible thing. And you just stay safe with your family and look after yourself. Thanks for your time.
Man.
Run for my life.
Yeah, sorry, we were muted there. Just, I'll ask you again. Give me a reaction to that eyewitness account.
I don't know what to say, man. This guy was just next to the guy with the rifle on the rooftop. I mean, really? I mean, it's panicking just to think about it. And the other part is that he has a point. Where was the other service members to look around at every rooftop or every windows and make sure that nobody would probably be around? Because normally they look at what's going on a premise before having any rallies, just to make sure that nothing like that would happen. So, yeah, he has a point, right? His question has some weight, I think.
And here is footage of the shooter on the roof, what appears to be the shooter in this footage. Just viewer discretion advised. I'm not sure what we are going to be looking at here. I don't know if this is before or after the gunman was shot at the scene.
We all decided, hey,
here it is.
When we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through.
And you can see, yes, the shooter laying, the alleged shooter, when maybe the shooter, on the roof. When people are looking up there, they can tell that that's where it came from.
Yeah, everyone's looking at that direction.
Yes.
The guy is. What's going on there? Ouch. Seriously, I'm laughing, but not because it's funny, because I'm probably nervous too, and it's the way I cope with that situation. But I don't know what to say, man. I would have probably run my life.
So that is
seeing this guy on the rooftop, I would have been panicked.
So that is
sure.
one person, and then this is the other suspect. 2 suspects now that we've seen. This person taken away from the scene, carried out like a sack of potatoes.
To me, as you're trying to figure out if you're okay, what's going on, was he shot, was he wounded? Then we heard him on the microphone, Shannon, saying, let me grab my shoes as they tried to take him off. So we're just trying to figure out what happened. To me.
And so that was what that looked like. So we've got at least 2 suspects. Don't know what the situation really is with this person who was carried out.
Well, I'm sure of one thing. Well, it's an assumption, but knowing how the Secret Service works in that type of situation, they will just, shoot to kill. That's how they are trained. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that these guys are not around anymore to live on their story.
And it appears this is the officer. At least this is what is being posted on social media tonight. There are indications this may be the officer who shot and killed the suspect, probably on the roof of that building, overlooking the stage where Donald Trump was speaking tonight in Butler, Pennsylvania, at this Trump rally. Big crowd, of course, as all these Trump rallies are well attended. Trump taking to the stage just after 6 p.m. At 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Trump was speaking and shots rang out. You could hear the pop, pop, pop. Some people thought initially it was fireworks, but then Trump reached behind his ear, touched his neck, and then went down onto the stage on his knees. Secret Service agents rushed up onto the stage, surrounded him, and then escorted him off the stage, getting him to a place of safety.
Yeah.
And as he was
story making.
Yes, and this image right here, another historic image of Trump being taken off the stage, surrounded by Secret Service, his fist raised in defiance as he survives this attempted assassination tonight in Butler, Pennsylvania. 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when the shots rang out and Trump was hit, grazed apparently in the neck. Secret Service tonight and his campaign team reporting that Donald Trump is safe.
And luckily.
Yes, very lucky indeed. Taken to a local hospital for assessment. And another image of a very defiant Donald Trump emerging from this attempted assassination in a position of strength tonight in Butler, Pennsylvania. Dragon, let's take a little break here. Stay on the line, my friend, and we will be right back. And this reminds me so much of the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan, where he too emerged from the attempt in a position of strength, joking from the hospital. He told Nancy Reagan, "I forgot to duck."
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
The New World Order. Government overreach. The Great Reset. Mainstream media lies. Now more than ever, independent voices are needed. Donate now, at freedomreporters.com. That's freedomreporters.com. Maverick News. The antivirus program. For your mind.
And there he is, Donald Trump, fist in the air, blood on his face, his ear, his neck. And you could read his lips. He was clearly saying, fight, as he shook his fist in defiance after this attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania tonight, 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The shots rang out. He reached behind his ear, put his hand to his neck, and there was blood. He fell to the stage. Secret Service agents surrounded him, rushed onto the stage, surrounded him. You could hear them shouting instructions to each other to whisk Donald Trump away to safety. They took him off the stage over to a waiting SUV where they took him to a local medical facility. We have received word from his campaign team and Secret Service that he is safe. He is okay tonight. At least 2 suspects identified at the scene. One appears to have been shot. It appears that suspect has been killed, a suspect that had climbed up onto a roof of a building overlooking the stage. How that was allowed to happen, it is not clear. But apparently that suspect was armed with some sort of rifle. What kind of rifle or gun is not entirely clear at this time. But we do have footage. We have seen footage of what appears to be a gunman laying on the roof, motionless, and an eyewitness account from someone who self-identified as an emergency room physician who just happened to be at the Trump rally, who indicated that he saw that shooter shot, apparently by law enforcement, in the head. That physician indicated that he saw not just blood, but actually brain matter from that suspect. And it looks like he was very close to it. He went to the scene and said that he could help. And you can see that he had blood on his shirt. So he obviously was up close where everything was unfolding. And we've shown you as well an image of what appears to be the officer indicated on social media from people posting that this officer in tactical gear is the one who shot the suspect on the roof. A second suspect taken out of the stands tonight, carried out like a sack of potatoes. It is not clear what the status is with that suspect. And Dragon, what was your emotional reaction once you realized what was going on? I know that you were, you didn't see it happen live because you were out in the community. But then when you got back and you were trying to figure out what the heck was going on with this newscast tonight, then you realized that Donald Trump had been shot. And what was going through your mind, and what emotions did you experience?
Yeah, well, to give you an idea, and to the other guys at home, yeah, I was actually trying to get on the stream that you brought me, right? But I wasn't realizing what was going on. So when I came on to you and tried to get on YouTube and see what was going on, or I mean, just look at the feeds, this is where I realized what was going on. So this is basically like I was surprised like hell about what was going on, and yeah, I mean I was shocked. This is my first reaction. I was shocked. So it was completely a sort of a surprise for me.
Yeah, so for those of you just joining us, Donald Trump has survived an assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania tonight, where at least one gunman, possibly two, took shots at the former president. And this is the way it looked at 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight.
We see something that said, take a look at what happened. Oh.
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here. Move it to the spare.
Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready.
We ready?
Shooters down. Shooters down.
Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move?
Shooters down. We're good to move.
Clear.
We're
Let's
clear.
move.
We're
Let's
clear.
move.
We're clear.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we gotta move to the box. Move to the box. Let me get my shoes.
Okay. Shoot down. Shoot.
Watch out.
Wait.
And the crowd chanting USA, USA, as Trump is taken away, surrounded by Secret Service agents protecting him. And as he was getting up, it's amazing to see that he had the presence of mind to say, just wait a minute. And he paused and raised his fist into the air, very aware that what he was going to do, very aware that his actions at that moment would echo through history, aware that what he was about to do at that moment would reverberate through this coming election. And he sent a message directly to his supporters, to the American people, that he is strong, and he rose up in defiance as they tried to kill him tonight, whoever they are, but someone obviously tried to kill the president, an attempted assassination, and Trump rising up, and I think he will emerge from this dragon stronger than ever before.
Well, look, I will take back what the other caller said earlier. Trump is freaking strong. This guy is a bull, okay? He just got shot, and yeah, able to just come up and raise his fist like that as a rage against the machine and let's go USA. I mean, no, come on. This guy he's a tank. And I mean, look, I'm not a Trump supporter, but the thing is that he's a human being, right? And I will give him due where due is supposed to go. And this guy, I mean, he has my respect. He always has a bit of my respect, but today, I think that he has shown more respect than any other president, I think, just with what he did. Well, not respect, but I think a show of force would be the best word to use.
Yeah, and I'm not making these statements about Trump in an effort to build him up or shill for him in any way. I am simply making statements based on my observations here. That's my analysis. I think that he will emerge from this in a much, much stronger position politically. And I think that what he has done here is actually, in a way, good for the country because it shows that even in the face of this kind of threat and this kind of violent action, you have someone who is strong enough to just stand up and show really no fear.
Mm-hmm. He does a lot of what I do, kicking the bulls by the nuts.
Truly amazing.
I mean, he has all my kudos. Trump today is a hero, I think.
Well, he almost made the ultimate sacrifice as, a former president, commander-in-chief, someone running for re-election. Not a safe job being president of the United States. So when, I guess in that respect, when a president sends soldiers into combat, the president too is always in a position of risk, putting his or her, potentially in the future, or her life on the line when they assume that position. And we've seen that, presidents can be and have been assassinated in the past. Tonight, another assassination attempt, this time on Donald Trump. And if you go back and think to his initial election campaign back in 2016, Trump was on stage at another rally, and a man rushed the stage in an apparent attempt to attack him and was tackled. And Trump barely missed a beat. He saw the guy coming and they tackled the guy, but he barely missed a beat and just carried on in defiance at that time as well. And then tonight, actually shot. And then as he rises up from the stage, he raises his fist into the air in defiance and a show of strength coming from the former president, the 45th president of the United States, now seeking to become the 47th.
Oh yeah, that will galvanize his vote too, I think. A lot of people is going to vote for this guy on next election.
Yes, well, it will further contrast Trump with Biden. Biden seen after that disastrous debate performance as being weak, frail, his mind's not all there. And now this with Trump, just the opposite. Surviving an attempted assassination, surviving actually having been shot, and showing, honestly, I saw no fear. He was rattled, no question about that. Who wouldn't be after being shot? And yet it wasn't fear. It was just a little bit of, physical of discombobulation, I guess is the only word that comes to mind. He was just shaken up just a little bit physically, but not afraid. I saw no fear in Donald Trump at all through the course of this.
Yeah, kind of like if you receive a punch in the face, not hard enough to knock you out, but just to make you see a few stars.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Once you realize what just happened, you're like, show the fist in the air.
Yes. And Joe says, Thaco XP, we're now pissed and motivated. Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty accurate way of looking at things too. This will energize the Trump base even more. You know, people have been really upset because of what happened on J6, the way that, you know, conservatives have been dealing with cancel culture for so long. This will just, again, you know, galvanize support around Trump and energize his base even more. People were upset before, they're going to be real pissed now. And as we indicated before, we're lucky. The country's lucky that he wasn't killed. In this respect, if he had been assassinated, you can be pretty sure that this country, the United States, would have popped off into some sort of an armed conflict. People have had it up to their eyeballs, and we're seeing a ton of conflict even in the streets. This is just going to inflame things even more. Not to the point, I don't think, of an actual civil war. I don't think so. No, I don't think that this will do it. But I think that this will take some of those undecided voters and put them clearly and firmly into the Trump column. What do you think, Dragon?
Well, it's not going to bring a civil war for sure, but I will say probably that the frustration is there, and I mean, it's probably one last drop before something may just, you know, like top off the water out of the jar, if you will, and become really kinetic, if you will. I mean, it's probably just the last drop before the next step makes everything explode, if you will, in the American minds. But I wish not. You know, I mean, I hope that the American citizen will just, you know, take that as a huge win in a way, because Trump is not dead yet. He shows a lot that he's strong enough to continue the fight. And I mean, you know, just raise your voice, guys. The only thing you need to do now is to vote. So, I mean, if that galvanizes your vote, that's up to you guys. Go ahead. I mean, Trump is there for you, right? But yeah, I just hope that it's not going to be too much pressure. That is, say that you will pour more pressure on what's already at stake right now in the U.S. At the moment, because the pressure is already high, and with that, it's another pill.
All right, Dragon, thank you so much for calling in tonight and hanging in there with us.
My pleasure, sir.
We'll try
and
to make...
Mavericks, have a good one.
Okay.
Wish you all the well.
All right, thank you, sir. Dragon, back in the Dragon's Lair, and you guys can join the conversation tonight at 519-401-1373. That is 1-519-401-1373. Stay with me. We'll pick up some other callers on the other side of this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, and our coverage is continuing. You can join the conversation at area code 1-519-401-1373. You can join this conversation. Share your thoughts, weigh in on this coverage tonight here on the Maverick News Channel of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-519-401-1373. One 519-401-1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So here's what we know at the moment about this attempted assassination of Donald Trump tonight at his rally, Butler, Pennsylvania. It is being investigated as an attempted assassination officially. This according to law enforcement officials. It wasn't clear at first if Trump had been shot, but then as he rose up from the stage in Butler, Pennsylvania, where he was shot at 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you could see blood on his neck, behind his ear, and even on his face. Then, Secret Service agents, well, actually, they surrounded him first, and then he rose from the stage where he was down on his knees. And then they escorted him off the stage as he rose his fist into the air in defiance and in a show of personal strength and fearlessness in the face of this attempted killing. Trump's campaign team issuing a statement saying President Trump thanks law enforcement and first responders for their quick action during this heinous act. That coming from campaign spokesperson Stephen Chung, who went on to say that the president is fine tonight and is being checked out at a local medical facility. We also have eyewitness accounts from the scene indicating that a suspect was on the roof of a building overlooking the stage where Trump was speaking, armed with what appears to be some sort of rifle. And we now know that that suspect was shot at the scene. A man who identified himself as an emergency room physician who just happened to be attending the rally told officers that he was a doctor and was there to help. And we showed you footage just a short time ago of that person who indicated that he is a doctor. He had blood on its t-shirt and indicated that he had seen brain matter around the suspect who was shot on the roof of the building, apparently. Now, another suspect was taken away like a sack of potatoes carried by police officers out of the stands. Now, I don't know if now I should rephrase that. I'm not sure which of the two suspects that doctor was really referring to, because that doctor seemed to make some reference to the stands. So we're not exactly sure what the situation is with those two suspects, but we are hoping to get more information on that shortly. So Trump at the time was talking about border crossing numbers. He was showing some sort of a chart, making reference to it. Immigration being, one of the top issues in this presidential election campaign. And as he was talking, you could hear the sound of what some people thought was fireworks initially, but then he put his right hand up to his right ear and his neck, and you could tell at that point that he had been hit by a bullet. And then he went down on his knees. Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, surrounded him, and then he rose up, surrounded by those agents, and raised his fist into the air. And you could read his lips. You could clearly see him saying, "Fight, fight." And then he was taken off the stage and escorted to a waiting SUV, where he was taken to safety, taken to a local medical facility where he has been checked out, and his campaign team indicating tonight that he is okay. An amazing turn of events tonight. Absolutely amazing. And well wishes coming in from politicians across the spectrum. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, three of the people on Trump's short list for vice president, all sent out statements on social media expressing concern for Trump. Rubio saying, "God protected President Trump." And I indicated yesterday, I think Rubio will be the guy who will be Trump's running mate. That's my guess at this point, if that short list is accurate. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, a Democrat, indicated in a post on X tonight that he has been briefed on the situation, and Pennsylvania State Police are on the scene of the rally where the investigation continues tonight, and it is officially being investigated as an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. He issued a statement saying violence targeted at any political party or political leader is absolutely unacceptable. It has no place in Pennsylvania or the United States. That again coming from Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro tonight. And Trump again rising up in defiance. Amazing, amazing, amazing. What an amazing turn of events. And yet, with the volatile nature of the political landscape right now in the United States, is it really that surprising? The country is so polarized. Emotions are running so high. The reactions from politicians, ever since the emergence of Donald Trump, have been so emotional. And the response from the Democrats, from the Biden administration, to everything that has happened since Trump was turfed from office in the last election. Pretty extreme stuff. His political opponents in jail tonight. Steve Bannon, even incarcerated. Still. And people on the Democrat side fearful of Trump, and maybe not just the Democrat side, the independent side too. Perhaps we don't know exactly what's going on with these suspects tonight. We don't know the backgrounds. We don't have the names at this point, but I would think very shortly we'll get more information. Let me just check in here and see if see what we have going on. And actually, I'm seeing tonight now, actually, that some of the content that we've been able to unearth for you is now being banned up here in Canada. Isn't that strange? Some of that footage, I think it's a territorial rights thing. Copyright issues with some of these news organizations censoring their own material to prevent because of Canadian government censorship laws up here now related to the distribution of money related to copyrighted material and news content in particular on social media. So they're preventing stuff from being seen up here. So that's what we know as of this moment. That is the latest confirmed information that we have for you. Not speculation, straight up facts here on the Maverick News Channel. You can join the conversation tonight at 1-519-401-1373. You can share your thoughts, your emotions, your hopes, your prayers, your well wishes even for Donald Trump by calling 1-519-401-1373. I will return right after this.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-519-401-1373. One 519-401-1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. Okay, so we know that one spectator was killed, another seriously injured in Butler, Pennsylvania tonight, where this attempted assassination on Donald Trump was unsuccessful. This information coming from Butler County District Attorney Richard A. Goldinger. And a second person was removed in serious condition. And as we indicated earlier, the suspected shooter was on a roof, the roof of a building overlooking the stage where Trump was speaking in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now, security is being beefed up across New York City after this attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump. The NYPD is saying that they are doing this out of an abundance of caution. They are increasing the police presence across the city, including at Trump Tower, at 40 Wall Street, Foley Square, and at City Hall. The Biden election campaign, the election team, has indicated that they are halting all of their campaign television ads related to the presidential race at this time. They're pausing all outbound communications, and they are working to pull down all of the television ads that they have placed as part of their campaign. This according to a campaign spokesperson tonight. Now, the White House has indicated that Biden will shortly deliver remarks with regards to the shooting at the Trump rally in Pennsylvania. Let me see if I can tap into that feed for you here tonight. And we will see if we can pick up this live address. Let's see who we have on the line. Hello there. How are you? Who's this?
I'm good. How are you? My name is Mandy. I've never called in before.
Well, welcome to the program.
Thank you. I watch it all the time.
Well, it's great to have you here. What are your thoughts on this historic evening, a dark chapter in American history unfolding before us? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I was out and I got in and then I just, I was on Twitter and then I turned on your show and then here we are. When people would talk about this, I'd think, don't give them ideas, but I would say I was surprised, but then I wasn't. And I think these people would do anything, obviously, to, keep their plan going, who's ever, because there's so many involved in such corruption, around the world and in the U.S. and Canada. So I would say I'm glad he's okay, but it took my breath away. Like, whether you like him or not, and I can't believe how brainwashed people are. Like you just mentioned Trump. I'm out west and in BC, and I mentioned, like, if Trump is just mentioned, it's like this hysteria, and it's just from news, like MSN. Like there's no validity in what some are saying. I don't know. That's the most difficulty I have with this, is the brainwashing of citizens about this. But I'm quite devastated, actually. But I'm glad he's okay. There would be a lot more to be devastated about. So I'm just really glad he's okay.
Yes, I'm glad he's okay too. Not just for him, obviously relieved that he wasn't killed and was seriously injured, and the word is that he is going to be okay. But I'm relieved for the whole country and maybe the world,
Yes.
because if he had been killed, I think we'd have, oh my gosh, uh, riots in the streets.
Yes. Yes. And I'm just, uh, I'm just kind of holding my breath. I'm just holding my breath. Thank you for doing this show tonight, because when I saw there was somewhere to call, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to call. I've never called before, but I have to call.
Well,
It's really scary.
yeah, and it's moments like this when people need and want to share their thoughts and their feelings with each other, right? And so that's part of what a program like this is about. It isn't just about covering the news. It's about giving you guys a voice.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate this, and I appreciate your time and your coverage and all the work that you do and Dragon, and you have a great show, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate it very much. Yeah, very,
Yes,
very
and
kind.
I'd like to call in again if that's okay.
You call in as often as you like. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, and so many prayers for there's so many prayers for all those good people in the world, and prayers to President Trump and his family.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
You too. Talk to you again. Bye for now.
All right, you will. Bye-bye.
And you can join the conversation too at 1-519-401-1373. Share your thoughts on tonight's attempted assassination of Donald Trump. People have talked about this from the time he announced that he was going to run, from the moment he came down that escalator. So many people saying they're going to try to kill him. They're going to try to kill him. And we did see, as I indicated earlier, in that original, the first time he ran back in 2016, there was that rally where a man rushed the stage and tried to get Trump, tackle him or something, but he was stopped by Secret Service on his way to the stage. And Trump saw the guy and then barely, as I say, barely missed a beat and carried on with his speech and just made reference to the guy who had just come to try to attack him. Again, not fearful at all. And then tonight, actually shot and a little bit rattled, but gets right back up and raises his fist in the air in defiance. And that has been the theme, or the recurring theme of the Trump campaign, is survival. Through all of the lawfare, all of the attacks, all of the smears, unprecedented levels of lawfare, never seen anything like it. The shenanigans that have gone on throughout his entire political career, which really began when he came down that escalator. In spite of it all, defiance, survival, just looks him right in the eye and keeps on trucking. I'll tell you, he is a force to be reckoned with, isn't he? A one-man whirlwind. No question about it. And his entire campaign team, all the people around him, his supporters, have paid a very heavy price all through this. From the J6ers who remain in custody to Steve Bannon, who is in custody, incarcerated tonight, serving, what was it, a 4-month sentence, which basically takes him out of the mix for the duration of the election campaign. But he's in there writing every day and posting this information whenever he possibly can, his thoughts and his experience in prison. Something that really I never thought I would see in my lifetime in America. All of these attacks on Trump and his campaign, very much, imagery of a banana republic, right down tonight to this attempted assassination. another stain on American history, really. And yet, Trump emerging from this, I think, stronger than ever. Stronger than ever. And he is doing okay, according to his campaign team. He was taken to that local medical facility, and he's all right. He's going to be just fine. And Donald Trump Jr. tonight indicating that he has spoken with his dad. And he says that his father, Donald Trump, is in good spirits. He remains under observation, though. And Donald Trump Jr. saying that his father is never going to stop. Amazing. So Joe Biden has come out with a statement, and he has said, Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety. There's no place for this kind of violence in America. We must unite as one nation to condemn it, he said. He went on to say, quote, I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we await further information. That coming from President Trump tonight. Historic images being shared across social media tonight of this attempted assassination. Wow. And again, I'll bring this up and show you the moment. This at 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Donald Trump shot while on stage. He had just taken to the stage, just started to speak, and he was addressing the immigration issue, making reference to a graphic that was up on a screen. He was turned and looking, and that's when the gunman took his shots, multiple shots.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
That's a lot of shots.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
3 at least, and then other shots, but we don't know if those were coming from the gunman or from law enforcement shooting back. Not clear. But more shots fired after the president went down, former president.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Wow. Wow. And then Trump rising up, putting his hand up in the air. And this was, again, the way the crowd responded. Some people running, but, you know, the crowd was amazingly calm. The vast majority of people there maintaining their composure throughout this, not panicking. This could have easily turned into something much more serious, even within the crowd itself, where if they had panicked, you could have had people trampling over one another in a state of fear. And yet the people kept their wits about them, didn't they? But unfortunately, we are seeing that there were others caught up in this who were hurt.
You hear him, go!
This is wrong. This is wrong. Cyber shot somebody out.
Go, they're out.
Come on, on, baby. Let's go.
And people leaving the scene, getting away from a very dangerous place. But law enforcement really containing the danger very quickly. Shooting the suspect on the roof of that building. And again, here's footage of Trump as he was being taken off the stage by Secret Service. There he was. That, I don't know. You get shot, a lot of people just lose it, but he was amazingly well composed, wasn't he? Did not panic, kept his head screwed on straight, and then knew that, you see, it's not so much a selfish thing or even a political thing. With Trump, he knows that the president must be seen to be strong, not just to be strong. He needs to be seen to be strong. Image is a very important thing for the leader of a country. So he had the presence of mind to raise that fist into the air and say, I will not be stopped. You cannot scare me. You cannot beat me or threaten me into a place of submission. I'm going to stand up to these threats and I will prevail. It reminds me honestly of what was going on during the pandemic. Do you recall when he contracted COVID, when he got sick, and then he went for that ride out in the SUV, and he was roundly criticized by media when he did that, saying he was putting the whole country at risk. He's going to be a super spreader. But what he was really doing at that time was showing that he, even as he was sick with what was, at the time, some people were so afraid of it that they thought it was, worse than the worst plague ever. He showed that even though he was sick, he was still functional and strong as a leader. That's why he did it. And he drove around and he was waving to people out the window, even though he was sick with COVID. And then when he got out, he walked up the steps to go back inside. And before he went in, he turned, and you could tell because the initial version of the COVID virus was the most severe. And he was sick. And you could see that his breathing was labored, but he still walked up those steps, turned, faced the crowd, faced the cameras, and even with labored breathing that you could see, he stood there. And I'm trying to remember exactly what he did. I think he again raised his fist like that. But I remember him standing there and showing in a show of personal strength to show the world that even though he had contracted this illness, he was still strong. Media not taking it that way because they love to hate him. So they criticized him for doing all of that, for going out into public at the time. But I know that's why he was doing that. The same when he walked across the street to that church in Washington that had been burned by the protesters, and then he stood out in front with the Bible and held that up. That again was a show of defiance, of strength, and yet the media again criticized him for that. But this, again, an act of defiance, raising that fist into the air, saying, you can't take me out. No matter how hard you try, short of killing me, I'm going to get back up and keep on moving forward, continuing to, as he said, fight. And you could clearly see that word coming from his lips. You could read his lips clearly. He said, fight, sending that message to his supporters, to America. Really, that was his message tonight. And through all this, yes, this is going to help him at the polls. I think this probably guarantees that Trump will be elected president in November. Just amplifying the contrast between himself and Joe Biden. Biden just fumbling and stumbling and bumbling and saying crazy things over the past week, coming off that disastrous election debate and that disaster, that dumpster fire of a news conference at the NATO summit where he just embarrassed himself, and now Trump going through this. And I am not saying all of this to endorse Trump. I'm not endorsing any candidate. I'm just giving you my analysis of this based on tonight's facts. It's as simple as that. And Magic Moon says, who is Trump's running mate? I already indicated that I think it will be Marco Rubio, because at his second last rally, I think it was the second last one, in Doral, Florida, Marco Rubio was there. And he turned and referred to Marco. It must have been 6 times during the speech. And it just came off in a way that was like hyper friendly. And it just seemed to me that was him sending a signal that Marco Rubio is going to be the guy. And Marco Rubio has the highest profile. I think his policies are largely in alignment with Trump. And I think that they can work together. So I think it's going to be him. The others on the short list, none of them have the level of profile that Marco Rubio has. And I think that Rubio will do the most to help his campaign. And Halo says, Rick, just marry him already. Well, I'm sorry, but the guy just got shot and he stood back up and look at what he did. So I don't want to marry him. I don't want to marry him, Halo, but but you have to give credit where credit is due. There's a guy who just literally got shot and got back up and just carries on. Amazing, amazing stuff. And that's a sign of a strong leader, whether you agree with what his position is or not. His policies, his politics. That's strength. Strength in the face of the ultimate assault, an assassination attempt. He was shot. Let that sink in. Whoever's behind this literally tried to kill President Trump. Literally tried to kill him. Okay, I'm going to take another quick break here. Somebody can call in if you'd like at 1-519-401-1373. I need to check on a couple of things to keep this coverage going. Stay with me. I will return. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-519-401-1373. 1-519-401-1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
We are getting word that President Trump has did tell some people that he could hear the bullets whizzing past his ear, and then report is that Trump has said that one of the bullets hit his ear, and it seems that that's where all of the blood was coming from tonight, as the gunman, who was situated on top of that building overlooking the stage, took his shots, multiple shots, as you could hear in that video. And we don't know at this point what the motive might have been behind this shooting, this attempted assassination. It is being investigated as that, an attempted assassination, and police investigators have been questioning people at the scene tonight, getting what information they can from people at the scene who saw all of this happen firsthand. And a lot of people screaming when they realized that it wasn't fireworks, that it was, in fact, gunshots that they were hearing. And again, we'll show you that moment. Bring it back up here. And here was the moment when the gunman took his shots at former President Donald Trump.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
You can see him reach behind and grab his ear, or his neck. And the word is that Trump has indicated himself that he was hit in the ear.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
It does not get any closer than that. A fraction of an inch is all that came between Donald Trump and death.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
And you can see him right there, and then down he goes. Secret Service protecting him. There are people who really do not want him to return to the White House. And the gunman apparently about 300 meters away from where Trump was on the stage. Yeah, and Trump thanking law enforcement. So what do we know about this? Well, we know that a shooter opened fire on former President Donald Trump at the rally in Pennsylvania. He was hit, I guess, in the ear. That's what we're being told. He fell to the stage, surrounded by Secret Service agents, and they whisked him off the stage. Got him to safety in an SUV. And the gunman on top of the building was shot, killed, and a second suspect also taken from the stands. And people began to exit the area, and most of them not running, most of them just walking tonight, and staying incredibly calm given the nature of what was going on there. Here's another angle, wider and then closer as all of this was happening. Let me share this one with you. And yeah, and I guess that suspect in the stands was severely injured. It looks like maybe the second suspect also shot. That must have been the suspect that doctor, who said he was a doctor, must have been trying to administer first aid to that person. Blood on that doctor's shirt, t-shirt. He was just there at the Trump rally. Not really clear. I could not tell to be certain which of the two suspects that doctor was trying to administer first aid to. But the second suspect in the stands carried out like a sack of potatoes. And it's not clear at this time still exactly what's going on with that second suspect. And here I'll show you this again, the moment, 6:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Butler, Pennsylvania. That was the angle that I initially saw. That was the way I saw it happen live. Exactly like that. Others there seeing it firsthand, and then some other people seeing it from different camera angles depending on the feeds that they were watching at the time. And so we're we're waiting for more facts, but we're seeing tonight that investigators are pulling together a lot more facts and information about this, and as many as 8 rounds from an AR-style rifle fired by this gunman who was perched on that rooftop adjacent to the venue. The shooter was about 200, maybe 300, well, I said meters, but I guess yards away from where Trump was speaking on stage. And then Trump saying in a post on Truth Social that he was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of his right ear. And he said in this social media statement, "I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening," he said. Trump has thanked Secret Service and law enforcement for their rapid response and has extended his condolences to the family of the person who was killed and the other person who was injured. And I did indicate that, or I referred to the person being carried out as a suspect, but I don't even know if that person is a suspect or a bystander that was shot as part of what was happening there. I think that might be the more accurate way of looking at this. The person carried out from the stands might not be a suspect, might have just been someone shot and injured, or maybe even killed. We don't have full details on that. So Vice President Kamala Harris has also released a statement stating that she has been briefed about this assassination attempt at the Trump rally. On social media, on X, she is saying, "Doug and I are relieved that he is not seriously injured. We are praying for him, his family, and all those who have been injured and impacted by this senseless shooting." She goes on and says, "We must all condemn this abhorrent act and do our part to ensure that it does not lead to more violence." Bill Clinton tonight also condemning the attack, indicating on social media, "Hillary and I are thankful that President Trump is safe, heartbroken for all those affected by the attack at today's rally in Pennsylvania, and grateful for the swift action of the U.S. Secret Service." Now, we do know that one spectator was killed, one seriously injured. One rally spectator killed, another injured during this rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and that coming from Butler County District Attorney Richard A. Goldinger. The second person removed is in serious condition. So I think that is really what we were looking at there, not necessarily a second shooter or suspect, but a victim. Someone shot a bystander, two people. President Biden coming out and saying, quote, "The idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of." Not really. It's just not appropriate, he said tonight. He said it's sick. Security at Trump Tower increased tonight and at other locations across New York City. In response to this, coming from the New York PD and the Biden campaign, again, stopping all television ads in response to this. And Trump is okay. He survived this. And I'll tell you, this is one heck of a buildup, one heck of a precursor to what we are going to be seeing next week at the GOP convention, the Republican convention, where Trump will be confirmed as the nominee for the Republican Party and is expected to announce who his running mate will be. And that bullet piercing the upper part of his right ear. And we are getting information tonight confirming that that shooter fired at least 8 shots at the stage at Donald Trump. And that shooter was killed by police at the scene. One bystander killed, possibly a second. The second bystander who was injured at the scene, information we're getting here is that they are in serious condition. But we don't know, we have no idea what the possible motivation behind this assassination attempt might have been. We just don't know. So keep your eyes open for what's, well, I think all eyes will be on the Republican convention next week. And man, I can't imagine how much energy there will be there. And I'm just thinking ahead to the kind of reception Donald Trump will be given when he takes the stage at the convention. That will be off the charts now, given that he has survived this assassination attempt. Truly amazing. Okay, let me just run this. I'll be right back. Don't go away.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
The information war is raging. Truth without integrity is worth nothing. Maverick News. Because those who have power and those who seek it must be held accountable.
The world is watching.
Join our family of truth seekers. Donate today and add your voice to the chorus of Maverick Knights. Donate at maverickdonations.com. Truth. Integrity. It's the Maverick way. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay. Now here's the post that Trump shared on Truth Social tonight. And here, I'll show it to you, not just read it, but I'll show it to you. So here he is. It says, I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all of law enforcement for their rapid response and on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. And then he ends simply, God bless America. And then look at the post right below that. I am more MAGA now than ever. God bless President Trump, MAGA 47, Trump 2024. Those are the hashtags. Justin Trudeau tonight saying, I'm sickened by the shooting at former President Trump. It cannot be overstated. Political violence is never acceptable. My thoughts are with former President Trump, those at the event, and all Americans. And here's some sort of, I don't know. I'm going to run this. This is a clip from CBC tonight, and it looks like they may have flipped this coverage or twisted it in such a way that they're actually trying to blame Trump for this happening to himself. But I'm not sure. Not sure. That's just what this post is on social media. Let's listen to what this clip is, because I'm eager to find out how this news outlet, government funded in Canada, views this tonight.
and this picks up a little bit, I think, on what Alex was talking about. What will Donald Trump say? Again, back to rallies that I've attended and rallies that we've all seen on television over the course of years now. We've seen him in an animated fashion, you know, when a demonstrator rises up, right? Get him the hell out of there, right? Things like that, that kind of language that Trump has used. At other times, in other circumstances, the kind of language that goes down the path toward violence. How will Trump respond to this verbally? What will he tell the MAGA crowd about how he is, about what he thinks about what has happened? What will they think? To where Steve and Alex are in Milwaukee, where, unless plans have changed, I'm supposed to go tomorrow. There is a giant security perimeter around the area where the convention is slated to happen. Security is about to go up, you know, times 100. When I heard the news about this today, I was at home starting to pack for the convention, and I was taking a gas mask because there is certainly the potential for violence at any of these such events these days, especially, as we've been saying throughout the afternoon here, especially in this time of such deep division and polarization and the violent rhetoric, not just from President Trump at times, but from his followers and from others who are observers to this and participants in the various rallies and things like that. It's, you know, the bigger picture is that this is a sad time in America, right? That it gets to this. This is not a country that is new to violence in the.
So, I don't know. And then on the other side, we're seeing people online naming a person who potentially is the shooter. I don't even really want to share the name, but it's all out. It's all over the place. So this is unverified, totally. It could be true. It may not be true because we just don't have confirmation. But some people are saying that the person who shot Trump is someone named Mark Violets. And this person, Mark Violets, is being tied to or connected with whoever Mark Violets is being connected with Antifa. Some people saying that is the gunman who was shot on the top of the building. But there is no verification of that at all at this point. Could well be true, but it may well not be true. So it's simply speculation at this point. Let me see what else I can find. See if I can find anything about this guy. I would not put a lot of stock in this at this point. There's just a lot of conspiracy theories that are going to circulate as a result of this. That is inevitable in this current environment. Now, until I get confirmation, I'm not going to commit to that. I'm not going to commit to that as being fact, not at all. And here's another image of Trump with blood on his face and his ear and his neck. And this could have been, I hate to say it in this way, but it could have been much worse. There could have been even more people killed. That gun used, I mean, he got off at least 8 rounds. At least. And so we saw this whole thing unfold in a way that, yeah, it could have been much, much, much worse with many more casualties. But it's pretty clear whoever did this was targeting Trump specifically. So at this point, if anyone does want to call in, if you have thoughts you want to share, you can call in here at 1-519-401-1373. And I'm going to check a couple of things here again and return. Stay with me.
The New World Order. Government overreach. The Great Reset. Mainstream media lies. Now more than ever, independent voices are needed. Donate now at freedomreporters.com. That's freedomreporters.com. Maverick News. The antivirus program for your mind.
And why that guy was allowed to get on that building, I have no idea. I've been to Trump rallies. I've been there. They have pretty tight security. Metal detectors, they check the bags as people go in. How was that guy able to get up on that building with that weapon when you have all those cops around? Now, they do have a lot of people who attend, who show up at these things. I'm not criticizing law enforcement. I'm just asking a question. Maybe the guy was there before and was hiding out someplace so that he could get behind the security. Who knows? But they certainly have tight security at these Trump events. And yet this guy got in. There he was on top of that building, able to take these shots from an elevated position straight down. And he's got Trump right in his sights, and yet missed from about 200 to 300 yards away from Trump's position on the stage where he was speaking. So, I don't know. Now, if you like our coverage here, you can support what we are doing, and we are entirely supported by you guys. You can donate to keep this channel rolling at maverickdonations.com. And we are getting word here too that the GOP convention is going to proceed as normal, the Republican convention next week. No major changes planned at this point, I don't think. And with this happening now, I think that it's going to be an explosive affair. And I hate to use that word given what we just went through, but I think the emotions will just be off the charts. You can donate to support the channel at maverickdonations.com, maverickdonations.com, or at freedomreporters.com. maverickdonations.com or freedomreporters.com. Please, if you're watching tonight, hit the thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up on YouTube and Rumble. Hit the thumbs up. Extremely important. We are, like so many other independent media outlets, suppressed, shadow banned, information suppressed. They don't want us competing with the mainstream media outlets. But if you hit that thumbs up, it doesn't cost you anything, and it forces the algorithm to look at us and push us up in the search rankings. And that helps us immensely. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that on all of our social media platforms, including YouTube and especially over on Rumble, where we are growing. Our subscriber base is really growing over there. Now, I don't think at this point, honestly, folks, we are going to get much more additional information. I'm sure we will get a lot more tomorrow. We'll know a lot more about this this guy who has been identified as possibly the shooter by some media outlets and some people just online, social media. Could be accurate, could be completely wrong. No verification that Mark Violets is the guy who was killed on top of the building overlooking the venue. But again, I really appreciate you guys hanging out here tonight and participating in this historic coverage of the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. And we will continue to follow this story through the night. If there is any need, we will come back on live and resume our coverage. But I think at this point, we've pretty much got it covered. I really doubt that we will find out more about the possible motive or details about who Mr. Violets is with any kind of real confirmation until tomorrow. But I'm sure we will have a lot more to share with you tomorrow, Sunday, July 14th, 2024. I will return at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Maverick News Channel. Thank you, guys. Love y'all. And as soon as I find the closer here, and it's right there, I will click on that and see you all tomorrow on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.